context of the story. I got a master's degree in linguistics and became a private teacher in Silicon Valley. Got recruited by a Chinese person to go teach at a college in Shanghai. Actually, a couple colleges, but I chose one. So I went to China as a professional. Rather educated. And immediately was bombarded by ladies. And I was told, stay away. Stay away. My doctor, my friend, Chinese doctor friend told me, wait 3 years, Mark, before you get a girlfriend. But, I'm sure some of you understand what I mean when I say a Chinese woman's tough. So I met this girl. And, beautiful. Wonderful. Crazy. But, we went on a date. Had sex that night, and in about a week or two or something, I forget, she messaged me and said she was pregnant. I said, come over, let's make a family. So she moved in. The child was born. I noticed before the child was born that something was odd about my ex-wife. She didn't want to do anything. She just wanted to kind of sit on her phone and go through the social stuff. Anyways, we had a child who was born white. My Chinese ex-wife is like red hair, hazel eyes, and just, she's beautiful and rare, special looking. Anyways, my daughter was born white looking, but she's Chinese. And so instantly, within 6 months of her birth, we were bombarded by everyone everywhere we went in Shanghai. And, it's a special situation. Imagine the largest paparazzi crowd you could ever imagine. Up to the point even of getting recognized on airplanes, traveling places. People would say, hey, it's you. Anyways, my wife started modeling the child, and I instantly realized it was a terrible decision. The child was sitting there getting lollipopped. Do you know what lollipop is? It's where they promise you things and lollipops and stuff if you just stand there longer in the corner of a white box on set with so many flashing lights constantly for about 8 hours a day. Okay, now this automatically broke my heart, and my wife and I started our descent and descent. She wouldn't stop. She started going 4 or 5 days a week, living in the hotels, spending time traveling, unpacking and packing. She wasn't even home when she was home. I got to see my daughter two times a week. My daughter was not allowed to go to school. I was working the whole time, going mad. And for 10 years this happened. My wife took my daughter without my will, without my agreement, to model for Gap, Disney, who else? Fila. I could go on and on. 4 or 5 days a week, 8 hours a day in the corner of a box. It drove me insane, and eventually she took the kid and left. And I mean she left. Like she disappeared. Like one day I came home and everything in the house was gone. I went to the police station. They said the parents have a right to take their kids places. And then they called her, and they all said everything was okay. And that was the end of the story. I decided to come back to California. I tried lawyers, but I couldn't find any faithful lawyers in China to represent a foreigner. No foreigners are allowed to practice law in China. So you must be Chinese, and most Chinese live the culture of we are one family, and so I feel to get a fair trial is impossible. In fact, I should tell you the truth. My wife set me up for a crime that I didn't do. And I was put in jail for 15 days. And when I came out, my wife was gone. My wife provided me permission for 10 years to do what I do, to grow the plants I grow at home. And then when it was ready, she called the police and said, he's growing plants. Side note, you only get 15 days for growing a basement of plants in China and a $100 fine. I digress. The child disappeared. My 2 dogs, my 2 cats. And perhaps $10 million that my daughter had earned over the course of about 10 years working full time since she was 1.5, 2 years old. And that's why my wife left me, is because she didn't need me, she didn't like me, and she wanted the money, and she knew that I objected, and I was trying always to get it to stop. I wanted to be with them. I wanted family. I didn't want her to be abused, stuck in the corner of a white box 8 hours a day. I wanted a wife. I was just at home cooking food for dogs. She had me cooking chickens and sausages and stuff for the dogs every day. I ate what the dogs ate. And thank God I had them to walk with. But I lost my wife later on. I saw a court document she posted online, and I translated it, and it appears that I was represented by an attorney in the divorce. Now, I was never notified about this. Never. What happened was my wife, I believe, hired an attorney for me. And went to court. And that attorney, who was supposed to be for me, was hired by my ex-wife. Dude, when I went to jail, there was no court, man. There's no court, bro. You just sit there. And the policeman says, what'd you do? And I said, I did this. And he says, go to jail. Kind of made sense, but my point is what she did with the attorney was wild. I was represented, but I didn't even have notification. I didn't even ask. She hired someone to represent me, or else China appointed someone to represent me? Anyways, my wife moved and left, and she knew that without my daughter I would not stay, because I can't fight her. I can't fight her. Stay in China so I can maybe see my daughter once a month while my wife plays games with me the whole time and punishes and abuses my daughter, the child that I worked all my life to get to. So she left me and took all the money. I had enough money to send a couple boxes of stuff home, like clothes and important things like her ukulele and some of her things. I have a whole bunch of her books that were left behind. Not a whole bunch, some of them that I just couldn't walk away from. So I had no money. I was homeless. I had to get a car. My family, I couldn't go to my family. They're all tore up on alcohol. And I don't need that negativity. I need help. And then, so I miraculously got credit for a VW Jetta. And I was working at Home Depot paying it off, living in it For over 2 years, in 2 years, I paid off a $27,000 car. Working at the Home Depot, living in a car, living in it. I don't have money for a lawyer. I don't have anything. And you know what else? I quit. I quit. Until I can see my daughter again. Fuck the world. Fuck it all. I'm not hurting people. But I'm definitely not teaching people anymore. Going to class, seeing these kids with families, I can't do it. And I'm not going to work at some crazy, I'll go back to Home Depot if I need to, I can. But I quit, dude, I'm done. I want my daughter. I'm holding it together right now in this video, but several times a day. I'm incapacitated. When I wake up, when it's time for bed, when I see Dad walking with his child, when I drive by a school, when I hear a child cry. It reminds me of the only time my daughter cried, which was when her mom was taking her away from me. Reminds me every birthday my ex would make a fight and take the child away. She would ruin Christmas. She has mental problems, and China doesn't do anything about it. I was wrong.